Hi everyone. The first question that a lot of people ask when they see Smokey is, does she talk? And if you're a bird owner, you probably can relate. Now the second question they often ask is, how did you get her to do that? Or how did you train her how to do that? To which I often reply, do you want the short version or do you want the long version? Regardless, if you have a parrot, you probably have wondered, what's the first thing that I should teach my parrot? Or where do I begin teaching my parrot? Do I teach her how to talk first, or do I teach her some tricks? So if you guys are wondering, what is one thing that I would recommend with new bird owners? Or if I had to pick one thing that I think is the most important thing to communicate with parrot owners, I would say socialization and desensitization is without a doubt the most important part of training any parrot. Now, the reason for that is because you can always teach a parrot how to do tricks, you can always teach them how to talk later on in life. And trick training, an older bird could always learn new tricks. But socialization and desensitization must start as soon as possible. Now, does that mean that with an older bird, it's impossible to socialize them or desensitize them? Absolutely not. It just takes a longer time. And if you have a younger bird, however, socialization and desensitization is so important because it prevents problem behaviors from occurring in the first place. Now, Smokey's a really socialized bird, and if you guys saw some of my videos, she actually performed at high school basketball game once. And as you can imagine, in that kind of environment, a lot of birds would be freaked out. However, she was really calm and collective throughout the whole show. So how did I get Smokey to do that? Well, it began with really early socialization and desensitization. I know a lot of people, when they first get a bird, you're really excited to start training it how to do tricks or how to talk. But let's say you successfully taught your bird how to talk or how to do tricks. All of that would be useless if your bird is scared of other people or if it's scared of new surroundings and different things in the household. Personally, I can live with a bird that never learns how to talk. I could also live with a bird that never learns a single trick. But it's really difficult to live with a bird that's scared of other people or phobic of new environments, new and different things. And that really is the reason why socialization and desensitization is so vital and so crucial when keeping a parrot. For those of you who have been watching my videos, you probably have also realized that I actually don't have that many videos out about how to trick train a parrot. And personally, I've thought about doing that in the past. However, the one thing that held me back was I never wanted to teach people how to train the birds how to do tricks unless and until I cover and I talk about why it's important to train. And I think that's what's really lacking in a lot of YouTube videos that has to do with bird training. Now, when I first began keeping birds, I initially started training birds because of two primary reasons, and these are the two primary reasons why I'm still training birds today. The first is training is it's a really good way to enrich your bird's life. Now, parrots are really intelligent animals, and as intelligent animals, we need to keep them mentally stimulated. Training offers us that medium to kind of enrich their lives by keeping them mentally stimulated. More importantly, through training, we're able to communicate this two-way communication pathway between us and our bird. Smokes, come here. Right, Smokes? So that's really vital to keeping a parrot. And the whole training session, like I said earlier, is really going to help you to develop this bond, this relationship, but also this crystal clear communication language between you and the bird. So the question is, how do we go about socializing and desensitizing our birds? Socialization, pretty much, is a process where we try to get our birds to view other people as being a positive thing. So the way I began with Smokey is, every single day I would invite people over. And I would recommend, if you guys have friends, invite them over for pizza. And naturally, people are really curious about parrots, so they'll often come over, and when they do, give your friends some seeds and ask them, hey, you want to feed my parrot? And most people are really willing to do that because they're initially really curious about the bird. So take that to your advantage. I do want to mention, however, that socialization, a really important component of socialization, is actually the human component. What I mean by that is this. It's really important that you guys invite people over, or you guys let your bird interact with people who are respectful of not only the bird, but also of you. You don't want to invite guests over that are going to tease or poke their fingers into the bird's cage. So it's really important that you guys communicate what is expected and how the guests should approach your bird, because you know your bird best. The key to socialization is trying to make it a positive experience every single time. It's always up to you to read your bird's body language. Now, if your bird is clearly communicating that it doesn't want to interact with that person, then you try again next time, but don't force it, or else you risk getting bitten, and that's going to make the whole experience turn really ugly really fast. The second thing I do with Smokey is next to her cage, I leave a little pail, and on it I write, "Feed me." Inside the pail, I add a bunch of treats whenever guests are over. So when my guests are over, they're often, when they come near Smokey's cage, they're like, "Hey, it says feed me." And they really willingly want to feed the bird right away. And this is really important because it allows the bird to interact with other people on a very positive note. Right, Smokes? Hey. Now, after socialization and desensitization is a process, and it's not an event that just starts and stops at a certain age in the bird's life. Even at 6 years old, Smokey is continually being socialized and desensitized to new people and different and new environments and things. Now, desensitization works the same way as socialization, but there are some differences. The main one is when we desensitize the bird, it no longer deals with people, we are now dealing with objects and new surroundings. Just like with people, what we want to do is, we want the bird to understand that some of the things in its environment are actually okay, and they're not that scary. Now, if you guys imagine, in the bird's point of view, a human household is really scary. I mean, if you think about it, there are scary sounds, there are scary sights. Every single day, their environment has stimuli that could be very and potentially very frightening to the bird. As the parrot owner, what you got to do is you have to identify what events, what environments, and also what objects might potentially scare your bird. When you do, it's always important that you guys introduce those objects, those surroundings, and those environments in a very gradual, but also a very positive way. This way, you change the bird's mindset into thinking, hey, that thing's not so scary, it's actually a good thing. I'll give you a clear example. When I first introduced Smokey to the vacuum cleaner, I started vacuuming my room a really far distance away from her. Whenever I got near her with the vacuum cleaner, I would always reach over and give her a reward for it. I'm trying to pair the sound, the sight of the vacuum cleaner with a positive reward. And by doing that, eventually, every time I take out the vacuum cleaner, she's going to think, hey, I'm going to get a treat. And it turns out being a very positive thing. So, key case in point, socialization and desensitization are lifelong processes. And it's really important that the bird gets exposed to new people, new objects, and new surroundings every single day. This is especially important in birds like African greys because they tend and they could get very sensitive and develop phobias later in life. In regards to desensitization, a lot of people get this big misconception that if the bird is scared of an object, they can just force the bird on the object, hoping the bird will figure it out. Now, I even saw some YouTube videos where people are saying, will actually have a bird who's scared of like a pan in the kitchen, for example, and they'll literally grab the bird wearing gloves, and they will force the bird next to the object. Now, if you guys do that, just understand that, alright, first the bird is really scared of the object, and if you're forcing them onto the object, what you're actually doing is the bird is going to learn that, well, it can't escape whatever it's scared of, and it can't bite you because obviously you're wearing gloves, so it won't hurt. So you're suppressing the bird's fight or flight response. And since its fight or flight response is suppressed, it's going to actually go into a state of mind called learned helplessness. And what learned helplessness is the bird learns that it can't escape the punishment. And so literally it just gives up. And a lot of owners will actually take that as, oh, my bird learned to overcome its fear of the new object. No, it didn't. The bird just learned that it can't escape, so why try? And it gives up. Now, this is really bad because it greatly damages the bond and the relationship that you've been working so hard to earn with your bird. So the only way to desensitize your bird to a new object is to always associate it with something positive. Always, hey Smokes, what you doing? Always make it a good thing. The last thing I want to talk about is what I kind of started talking about at the very beginning, which is why we go into training birds. And keep in mind that there are many different reasons why some people go into training birds. And some people have really good intentions, while others, I really question their intentions with training birds. And what I mean is this. I train Smokey because I want to enrich her life. I want to make her life more enriching, but I also want to build that communication pathway. I want to be able to build a better relationship with her. Now, some people, though, train birds simply and solely for the purpose of entertaining and showing off to family and friends. And sure, the fact that the tricks are really cool, the fact that you can show them off, that's always a plus of training, but that's exactly what I view it as, a plus in training. But it should never be your sole and main reason for training. So keep that in mind. We train birds because we want to improve the quality of life, and because of that, you want to socialize your bird, you want to desensitize them by gradually introducing them to new people, new surroundings, new objects. But the most important part is every single time you do that, you always have to move at the bird's pace and always reward them for acting calmly and being calm in the presence of new people, new objects, or new surroundings. Smokes, you want to get up? Put my finger. Alright guys, well, if this video proved to be helpful to you, go ahead and like below. Oops. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get updates whenever new videos are posted. And I'll see you guys next time.
Smokey, perch.